My remarks today are going to cover 4 points that I want to share with you. Although the tradition is that one should always begin one's speech with great optimism. But I want to begin with a little bit of skepticism about technology's potential. But then, of course, come down to how the 2030 agenda can help us in achieving inclusion and sustainability, which are big challenges at this juncture when it comes to the issue of development. And we see significant strides can be made through injecting technology the way Infopoverty World Conference has been promoting over the last 17 years. We all know that technological change is not neutral. It has both positive and negative effects, many of which are determined by your status in society, whether you will gain or lose with the technological shift. In the past 25 years, rapid advances in technology were often welcomed without sufficient focus on whether the majority of people will benefit from it. And what we are witnessing right now in many societies, that our assumptions are being challenged. Inequities in technological resources and the need to fulfill human demands, we are in some cases falling short. I want to pose 2 basic questions. First and foremost is changes that specific innovations stimulate within society, such as digitization, how it benefits each and every individual in a society is an open question at this juncture. And second, we need to understand how do you make these changes inclusive in terms of its benefits. We have witnessed that free-for-all change in technological advances is not yielding results. And I just want to give, and the reasons, let me contextualize. It's the pace of change and the scale of change that many individuals cannot and societies cannot cope with. Just look at this data. For the United Kingdom to double its GDP for a country of 9 million, it took 150 years, which is through industrial revolution. For the United States to double its GDP for a people of 10 million country, it took 50 years. 1/3 of the time that UK took. But look at China and India. China, with a population of 1 billion, doubled its GDP in 12 years. India doubled its GDP for a 900 million population in 16 years. That's why many countries, many societies cannot cope with the scale of change and the pace of change. And that's why you see so many protests all over the world. But these countries did not achieve doubling of GDP only through technology. They had sound systems in place as they were growing to ensure inclusion and sustainability. And that is the challenge that is becoming increasingly evident. And we witnessed that start from 2007. The SDGs were not conceived in a vacuum. The climate change, 2007 call, the financial crisis, protests in 80 countries and 400 cities, clearly conveying we are not part of this prosperity, 99% versus 1%. And that's where the 2030 agenda comes in as an answer. It's a very well-crafted manifesto, but no manifesto is worth anything unless it is implemented. Just look at the context we are dealing with: volatility in commodity prices. Innovation is decoupled with job growth. Young people can't find jobs, and our analysis at this stage is indicating many of them may be worse off than their parents. So if we do not implement the 2030 agenda with the conviction which with it was adopted, we are at a high risk in terms of societies becoming more unstable. So third part of my presentation, first was the assumptions are being challenged. Second, the context in terms of speed and scale. And third, the 2030 agenda is an answer to deal with the challenge of inclusion and sustainability, because we have, in the last 17 years, although MDGs did make some progress, we have not been on the path of sustainability. Climate change has exacerbated. Exclusion has increased. Inequality has gone up. So that's why we have come with this comprehensive agenda, which is supposed to address the challenges of globalization in all its dimensions. The primary objective is to ensure no one is left behind. And this agenda captures both the economic progress element, the social inclusion element. Let me give you just one example, SDG 9 on urbanization, innovation, and industrialization. No society can develop unless it has infrastructure, both soft and hard. Soft means policies, institutions in place. Hard is roads, internet access, satellites. And the pace of urbanization, because 60% of the population is moving into cities in the next 2 decades, clearly indicates that if we do not innovate at a sufficient pace, we cannot deal with the masses coming to cities. The president of ECOSOC, for this reason, has made this a priority theme for his presidency: innovation for infrastructure and industrialization. And of course, his focus is on Africa because he comes from that region. But for all countries in special situations, he wants to deliver something concrete. We are working very closely, the Economic and Social Council, with FAO, UNIDO, in developing concrete ideas, especially in agro-industry, how to add value. And Infopoverty, we're also working with them to develop practical initiatives in ensuring the farmers in Africa get the technologies they need to add value to their produce. And then SDG 9 is just one example. Look, all the SDGs, if the SDGs are implemented by 2030, we have a fair chance of reversing the trajectory which has led to this kind of political uncertainty that we are witnessing all over the world. And I want to end with a message which is repeatedly conveyed by the Secretary General and all member states. 2030 agenda, while it is designed to leave no one behind, it cannot be implemented by any one country, one individual, one company. It requires wide-ranging collaboration among all stakeholders with a clear conviction that it's for the larger good of humanity and larger good of this planet. And that's where the Economic and Social Council is launching initiatives to create platforms through the High-Level Political Forum, the Financing for Development Forum, the Partnerships Forum, to bring as many actors together as possible to launch very practical initiatives in pushing the agenda forward. Because the way we are moving, and I don't want to end on a pessimistic note, it's unlikely that we will achieve the agenda. So acceleration is absolutely essential, and that requires collaboration. And I congratulate Mr. Saporito for launching such initiatives, These are the kinds of partnerships we need to generate to push the agenda forward. Thank you so much for giving me the opportunity to join you this morning.